Hello everyone and welcome back to Palette Bingo Remixed. So I wasn't sure how long I was going to do these remixes for. So Palette Bingo Remix is basically I pick 5 palettes using a random number generator and a list in my bullet journal of all the palettes that I own. And then the rules are I have to use them twice, at least twice, before I can put them back away. So it's been about a month and I wanted to do a quick update on it. Something I'm learning about myself, as you've heard in my Shop My Stash in reverse, is that I don't like having my makeup dictated to me. It's not something I bode well with. It's like I don't like being told what to do, if you can believe that. So I wanted to just jump on, pick some new palettes, and quickly discuss some of the ones I had picked out. So one of the first ones was the Japanesque Pixelated Color. This one will be staying another week. Funny enough, I actually dropped all 5 of these off my dresser and there's been some tragedies. So this one, the purple, is cracked and it is kind of like all in it, and I've tried really hard to not make it worse. But when I was reaching for this, I was reaching for it for the neutral colors, so I would like to use it as well with some of the darker shades here. I haven't had a chance to really play with this as it hasn't really fit anything that I have been doing lately unless I was going to wear it to film. So I will be keeping this. I will just be keeping it in the rotation. So I will, in this round, not be selecting 5 palettes. I will be selecting 3. The next one that also held great tragedy was the Huda Beauty Gemstone Obsessions. This is like so sad, but it fell and every single pan shook loose and broke in its own pan. So I repressed it to the best of my ability, but I still have not had a chance to really use this yet. I was using it a few times on my lower lash line just for pops of color. Sorry, it's like hard for me to lift it without it falling out. So sorry, yeah, I've been using it on my lower lash line for pops of color, but I don't feel like that counts as using it for a look, in my opinion. So this will be the second one that will move forward to the next 3 weeks to a month. So I'm going to be choosing the palettes for November. So hopefully I pick stuff that is seasonally appropriate. So for the third palette I had chosen was the Plum Obsessions. This is from Milani and the drugstore. I really like this. I will be holding on to it. I used this 3 times. It sounds like I'm not using them a lot, but I was testing other things and I wanted to use all the stuff I got in New York and Gem Beauty as well. So that's a little disclaimer here. I will not only use the Palette Bingo palettes. It's just so I make sure that I grab for those as been dictated by Makeup Jesus. Palette number 4 was the Shade in Light palette, and funny enough, the shade I was reaching for the most with this was actually the black. I use this a whole ton, which is weird because I don't typically use black anyway, whether I had pulled this or not. So to have it been dictated to me and then me to constantly reach for a shade I never use anyway was a little bit weird for me. And this will be staying because it's a classic, and you know. Full disclosure, they are all staying. And last but not least, and not looking like it did before, is the Naked 2 palette. So I was getting ready for a funeral. I've been to 3 funerals in 8 days, for full disclosure here. It's been a rough couple weeks. Yes, I'm fine. Everyone is fine. Ultimately, things are out of our control with some extended family and some extended friends, basically. Things had gone sideways. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. It's sad. It makes me sad and I don't want to talk about it. But I was doing my makeup getting ready for a funeral, and my Naked 2 is my funeral/wedding palette. So I pulled it out. I had it up like so. And when I was using the mirror, I kind of tilted the palette forward and all of the shades fell out. Every single one of them. So now it is depotted and it is in here, but my booty call, which I had very much hit pan on, got destroyed. A few of the other ones did get a little bit of damage on them, but they are okay. So the shades I like the best in this are YDK and Tease. They are what I reach for the most and what I create my funeral and wedding looks out of. So this is staying. I'm really disappointed that that happened. I really like having the packaging, especially that size of palette, because this I will probably end up not reaching for, so that may not end up staying. Okie dokie, so now we have to go through and pick the next 3 palettes that will go, because I like to have 5 palettes rotating at any given time for Palette Bingo Remix. So let me get up my random number generator. So since our last update, the high number has gone to 205. I'm actually doing like a non-spoken no buy of eyeshadow until further notice. I have one more palette coming in the mail from the Sephora VIB sale, but then that should be it for a while. So the first number I have is 92. So funny enough, number 92 is the Too Faced Bonjour Summer palette. And well, not seasonally appropriate, but that's okay. We'll have to make it work. So this is palette number 92. Luckily, there are some browns and oranges in here, and I think we can probably get away with using these shades on the edge here for like full eyelid coverage and all that good stuff for the blending. This blue is actually kind of fall appropriate too. So now that I'm actually looking at this, it says Bonjour Summer, and you would think it would be somewhat of a summer palette, but it isn't really. Random generated number 2 is 96. Come on, Google. At least get me off the same page. Okay, it's another Too Faced palette. It is the Too Faced Sugar Pop. So this is the Sugar Pop palette. I purchased this for my friend's wedding because it was macaroon themed and her wedding was somewhat macaroon themed. There again is some browns and oranges, but there is a lot more bright colors in here. So hopefully I'm just really feeling bright colors because I now have this, the summer palette and the Huda Beauty Gemstone palette. So we have 3 of 5 palettes are basically colorful palettes. You know, I'm actually not mad because I prefer colors. Okay, so everybody cross your fingers for me because I don't want another palette from the same page. It picked number 80. Palette number 80 is the Urban Decay Heat palette. That's actually really awesome. I just pulled that out of my, I was going to say recycling, but that's definitely not what I was going to say. What I meant to say, I just pulled that out of my drawer and picked it up and was like, oh wow, this is really pretty. I should grab this out and use it, because when I bought it, I only used it 2 or 3 times to see if it was okay. Basically threw it back in my drawer and never saw it again. So if you're going for seasonally appropriate, Naked Heat is where it's at. So this is the Naked Heat palette for those of you who are not familiar with it. I think this actually pairs really well with a lot of the stuff that I have out there. This one in the Japanese palette will actually pair pretty well together because there was some really deep like plummy purple in there and some green, and I really like greens and browns and greens, browns and oranges. I don't know why, I just always end up with like orange type colors on my lid and then underneath with like hunter greens, so that could be really interesting. All in all, I actually find the biggest challenge with Palette Bingo Remix is having my makeup dictated. I get so much stuff that I want to try and play with, and then I end up using it once or twice, and then I have to use a Palette Bingo Remix, and then I have to, I don't know. I don't like being told what to do. I just don't like it. Anyway, guys, if you have any of your favorite tutorials saved with any of these palettes, please let me know. I'm happy to check them out, maybe use them as inspiration for myself. If you, I'm kind of wondering, maybe you guys should start to pick for me. Like, you just toss a number down below in between 1 and 205, I think it is, 202. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Next round, you guys pick. So any number between 1 and 202, I want you to leave down below, and I will grab some of those numbers, the first 5 people to post those numbers, and I will choose those palettes next time. Anyway, guys, I hope you're enjoying this series, and I hope you really enjoy yourself.